City Network's down here at the Powerhouse, and joining me, Joe Bell from Brispop.com. How are you, Joe?
I'm well, thanks. How are you?
I'm not too bad. Now, first and foremost, thank you very much for allowing us to come into the Powerhouse and helping us out up here in Brisbane. You know, we've kind of, I guess it's not it's not a derogatory thing, but we've kind of found it hard to break into this Brisbane music scene. Can you explain a little reason why that it's sort of like it's a very close-knit family up here?
It really
Brisbane
is,
music.
and I think it's because Brisbane has been for so long regarded as a small town or a small town growing up, and I think it's in the last 5 years it's been trying to really kind of shake that off and put itself forward as, well, I think the marketing slogan is Australia's New World City. And we're just trying to emphasise that we've got world-class musicians and a world-class scene and all that sort of stuff going on in town. And I think probably the difficulty that you met was because the music scene has lots of little pockets of people that are doing some really cool stuff, but they don't necessarily mix very well with each other, or it's not that they are hostile to each other, they have their scene and they go to their scene. And I think that's kind of one of the things that Brispop is there to address, is to try to matchmake people that wouldn't necessarily play shows together because they didn't go to the same school, but they've got compatible music tastes. And I think we've seen over the last 10 years, we've seen a lot of combinations take off because of an introduction through Brispop. It's been cool.
Now, it's quite an extraordinary website. There's areas there for artists to put up their own profiles. There's places for artists to meet and exchange, like you're talking about. You know, there's gig guides. There's just everything that you'd absolutely want in the music scene to find out.
It's funny, you know. It's been because we started it so long ago. It's been sort of a work in progress. I mean, initially it was started as a web presence for bands, because not many bands had a website, and it was way before MySpace and any of that other stuff.
Now, what year was the
2000 was when we launched the website. I was doing a bit of music industry stuff before that, but I think it became really apparent that a lot of bands didn't have the resources or the organisational skills to have a really good web presence. And we found that we could help develop a community and a live scene by providing a web presence for people that didn't have one, or make the websites that might have been obscure URLs easier to find for people doing research. And I think I think there was GarageBand and MP3.com around in those days, but MySpace has kind of taken over from that. And I think as the social networking sites have started to become a lot more popular, our focus has moved away from the profile service, because bands can really do that anywhere now. It's kind of just providing a profile service that also is reflected in a geographic reality. So it is actually reflective of a real scene, not a virtual scene. But also the resources section is a really important tool that a lot of artists are using to manage their independent career, and a lot of bookers and tour managers are using it to book their East Coast tours, because we provide information for bands to organise their career.
Yeah, I guess it would take a lot of that time element out of preparing for a tour and things like that.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of the point, because I mean I maintain a gig guide that, you know, recommends shows for bands that I'm happy to recommend, because every single demo I get I listen to carefully, so I can actually wholeheartedly recommend a gig that I'm putting into the gig guide. But as I notice that bands are playing in certain venues, then I'll approach the venue and see if they want to be listed, because that way other bands that are, you know, competent, original, independent musicians will then go to those venues, and it develops a tour circuit around the country. So, I mean, there are a lot of different ways that the site is useful, but I think the main thing is that it just strengthens a bit of a music community up here, and there are a lot of ways it could be better, and it is being developed for next year's 10-year anniversary to be better. But at the moment, that's kind of where it's at.